Hey, Falcons and NFL fans. Welcome to another episode of NFL Jocks and Pigskins with Tom Pollen, Chris Smitherman behind the scenes producing the show. I'm Dave Holcomb. Atlanta Falcons are back in action this week following their bye, playing in London. They'll be playing a team that just played in London as well, not coming off of a bye.
Yeah, decided not to. I mean, that's ridiculous to me, but I guess if you're going to do it, I don't know. We'll
Ridiculous
see
to
how
me as
well it
well.
works.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Dolphins coming off of a really tough loss in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars getting their first win last week, and Miami looked great in the first quarter and a half,
Yep.
and then Jacksonville just chipped away and slowly started coming back, playing better in the second half, and kicked the game-winning field goal towards at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Jacksonville's just finally figured out that James Robinson is the engine to their offense. It's taken long enough, but they finally figured that out, and that's how they've managed to. That's how they managed to win the game last week because that was the Dolphins' weakness. They couldn't stop it.
So I was reading an article on Sports Illustrated from the Dolphins' perspective this morning, and they are, I think they don't. The writer doesn't think very highly of the Falcons. He thinks it's a game the Dolphins should win, and I think the Falcons writers and we are looking at it the same way, that the Dolphins aren't particularly good. This is a game the Falcons should win. So it'll be interesting to see. Both teams are not highly regarded, I guess, by opposing media, and we'll see who comes out on top. And it's a big win, a big game for the Falcons. Would be a big win to get back to 500.
Oh, they need it. Yeah, definitely. Especially after coming off the game they had in London. And granted, it's the Jets.
Right.
We all know it's the Jets, but a lot of good things happened in that game. Kyle Pitts finally went off. We got to see some good chemistry between him and Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see, the defense. They're not good,
Right.
but what I like about the defense is it seems to be those guys are tied together as a unit. There's no throwing people under the bus. No, they as a unit they are looking to improve, and they're looking to support each other. And I like that out of a team, out of a squad. You know, offense, defense, special teams. If that defense comes together, they're still not good, but at least they're all pulling in the same direction. They're all rooting for each other. They're trying for each other, and I always like that with a team.
So we'll dive further into the Falcons matchup this weekend against the Dolphins as they try to get back to 500. If they're going to win the game and get to 3-3, they'll have to do it without one of their star defensive players.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in just a second. We also have your picks for Week 7 in the NFL, and you have some prize picks for us this weekend too.
What? I do have prize picks. Hey, I got all three of my prize picks correct last week.
Yeah.
So if any of you fans kind of signed up for prize picks and followed what I told you last week on the show, you hit it. You nailed it. So, but I hit all three of my picks. Khalil Herbert. Who else did I have? It's been a while. Jalen Waddle and Williams from the Rams. So, I got him.
Yeah. We hope that you hit them again this weekend. Give us some more winning picks for Week 7. Maybe even do you have a baseball pick for us? NLCS tonight?
Oh, yeah. I knew that was coming. Braves, come on. They got to close it out tonight.
I know.
Atlanta Braves. Something? It always seems to happen with a Dave Roberts managed team with the Dodgers. He's in a terrible spot with that pitching staff. Max Scherzer has a dead arm. You're not going to see Scherzer. That's a terrible thing. He's overpitched him.
Mm.
And you need him for this kind of game. Now Walker Bueller is going to pitch tonight. He's a good pitcher,
Yeah.
and he's a guy that you can go to the mound and be confident with. But still, he's no Max Scherzer. So I'm looking to see. I think that's something the Braves should take advantage of. I want to see the Braves, knock this guy out. And even if they don't, the Dodgers are in a bullpen game again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Uh,
So is Scherzer can't pitch tomorrow either?
From what I am reading, Scherzer is not going to be ready. He is not going to be able to pitch. He might not even be available for one inning. They are really, from I've read in a couple of places, he has got a dead arm. There's just nothing there. So, and it's unfortunate because I really love Max Scherzer as a pitcher, but you overpitched the guy to get to this spot. Now Bueller's going on short rest.
He is.
And he doesn't pitch well on short rest. So
he doesn't. I mean, Roberts doesn't have a choice.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, you could argue he's overused Scherzer too, but he also only pitched Scherzer 70, 75 pitches in both of his starts. This, well, at least the start he had earlier in this series, and I don't think he had many pitches in his Giants start either. He came out of the bullpen in Game 5, but they needed him in Game 5.
Yeah,
to close that series out. So
he pitched hard down the stretch though too. So just getting the Dodgers to where they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, Walker Bueller is going on short rest, so it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts. I mean, the last time he pitched on short rest, from what I was reading, he only went 2 2/3. So this might be the time for the Braves to drive the stake into their heart and kill off the Dodgers and go on to the World Series against the Astros, who I just can't stand. I hope the Braves wipe the floor with the Astros. My God. I hope they wipe the AstroTurf field all over the place with them. Knock them out. Kill.
I hope they do too. But, watching the ALCS, we talked about it last week, how there was really no team to root for. I was glad the Astros won last night because I could not stand the storyline of Alex Cora redemption story.
Yeah, right. There you go.
So I was pleased that the Astros won, and yeah, I hope whoever comes out of the National League, hoping obviously it's the Braves, that
Dave, come on. Hoping who comes out of the National League? Who are we doing this video for?
I'm hoping whoever comes out of the National League beats the
Braves.
Astros. But I want it to be the Braves. But I don't. If it's the Dodgers, I'm rooting for the Dodgers.
Okay. But it's going to be the Braves coming out of the National League.
I hope so.
And it's the Braves coming out of the National League.
Tom, you haven't been down here in Atlanta. They have seen some big heartbreak in just the time I've been here in sports, let alone going back even further in history. No one around here is saying it's definitely going to be the Braves. You see the Braves lose a 3-1 series last year to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Up 3-1. Astros went to cheating school with Cats and Dodgers. Dodgers? Do you mean the Red Sox?
No, because
the Dodgers cheat too?
Dodgers suck. So
well, you don't want to hear who I think sucks.
No, I don't. Don't even go there. I'm pissed at them anyway.
Yeah. I'm pleased with them. So
yeah, I know you are, right.
Yeah. So yeah.
I went to Wrigley Field with you.
I know it was a fun time. Even though I was rooting for the other team.
Yeah.
They didn't, and the Cubs won.
Cubs won.
And I had to listen to that ridiculous song.
Oh, the song is ridiculous. I hate the song. The song is ridiculous. Dump the song. I'll tell you why that "Go Cubs Go." Uh, Steve Goodman, who wrote the song, the Cubs were mad at him. He's a lifetime Cubs fan, folk singer, uh,
Mhm.
probably best known for writing "The City of New Orleans," which Arlo Guthrie made famous. Uh, but he had written a song called "A Dying Cubs Fan's Last Regret" or "Last Request." A dying Cubs fan's last request. The Cubs got mad at him, and he kind of wasn't welcome around the team. So when the Cubs went, you know, uh, going into the 1984 season to get back in their good graces, he wrote the "Go Cubs Go" song. And
That's the song they play when they win.
song they play when they win, and I can't stand it. And I wish they would get rid of it and dump it. I mean, Steve Goodman's a great songwriter, but that's not the guy you want to. That's not the song you want to be hearing. It's just a dismal little song.
I mean, it works to annoy the opposition after you just beat them. I mean, it works that way.
Yeah.
The same way, right? Yeah.
Oh, and there are fans who love it. They just love it. We got to hear the song. No, you don't need to hear the song. My God, get rid of the song. It's one of Steve Goodman's worst songs. It's just terrible. Dying Cubs fan's last request is a very good song if you've never heard it. So.
Oh, Mad Mike.
Mad Mike chimes in. Yes.
Mad Mike with the dagger.
Oh. But I think we've talked baseball quite a bit.
Yeah, but what we're hoping the Braves are in the World Series.
But look up the song online. YouTube probably has it. A Dying Cubs fan's last request.
Okay.
Steve Goodman.
I was going to say, I'm not looking up "Go Cubs Go."
No, don't look up "Go Cubs Go." As I say, he wrote that to get back in everybody's good graces because the Cubs are mad at him. So, but yeah, not "Go Cubs Go." All right, so what do we got, Dave?
Well, we're hoping for your picks a little bit later, of course, with Prize Picks. And this video is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the simplest fantasy sports game on the market. I signed up for the app this morning.
It's so simple. I won last week. I got 3 picks right.
That's not what I was saying.
That's how simple it is.
I was saying it's simple to sign up and join, not
Yes,
simple to win.
Right.
But we have the expert advice for you to win. And it's simple to sign up. You when you put in your email and it's going to ask for a promo code, use the promo code ASU, Atlanta Sports Unlimited, and that'll get you a match up to $100 on your first deposit.
Right, exactly. So it was fun watching the game, watching my players last week, and seeing watching that little arrow going up until it hit the over, and I was like, baby, I got it. Nailed it. So,
from what I understand, Chris, our producer, also won last week.
So yeah. I mean, even if we can win, if we can get 3 right, come on, it can't be that difficult.
You're supposed to be playing up your picks, Tom. How you're an expert. You're not.
I'm an expert.
Yes. So let's break down the Falcons matchup. To get things back on track here. Playing the Dolphins, as we previewed at the beginning of the show, Dolphins 1-5, lost to the Jaguars last week. And, it's easy to say, oh, they lost to a really bad team. Dolphins should win. I don't want to get too carried away with that storyline. But clearly the Dolphins are not playing very well right now. And they're coming off of flying back from London. And I really don't think we can overstate how difficult that is, playing a game in London and then flying back to the East Coast. It's easier flying, west, but still there's the possibility of jet lag, and they're playing another football game, 6 days later.
Yeah. I don't get that decision. Why take – if this is the perfect time to take your bye week, you're hurt. You give Tua a chance to get another week. He was just coming off of injury last week.
Right.
So you get him a chance to come back. You get guys a chance to rest. And it just makes no sense that you wouldn't take your bye week uh, right after right after your London game. I don't get it. I guess that's their option. They're allowed to do it, but now they don't have their bye week until week 14. What good is that going to do them?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I guess they went into it thinking, well, we have an 18-week season. It's a long campaign, and we're hoping to be in the playoffs too. So that makes it even longer. Playing until Valentine's Day, and we just don't want to have our bye in October. But you can't not have the bye after the London game. It just
Yeah, you got to.
you just and as bad as the Jaguars are, just as a team, or if you want to say they're a bad organization, they win in London. They know how. They've been there multiple times. They know
Yes.
how to handle those London games. And even with Urban Meyer, his first time there, they pull out the victory in London. That don't think that's a coincidence. And have they ever not had their bye after the London week? I don't think they've ever tried to do that. So teams should follow the
Yeah.
organization that's been to London a lot and know how to handle it. And the Dolphins are not doing that. Dolphins are doing their own
No,
thing, and I don't think it's going to work out tomorrow.
neither do I. I really don't. I know a lot of people are picking the Dolphins to beat the Falcons. I don't see it.
Really? Hmm.
Oh, I don't see it under the best of circumstances. And you got so many players who are hurt right now I, for the Dolphins. Devontae Parker's still limited in practice, probably won't play. Uh, Malcolm Brown is out. Xavier Howard is going to be limited. It's just they got so many players dinged up right now. As I say, Tua Tagovailoa, uh, he was just coming off of an injury last week, and overall, I think the Falcons are coming together. I think the team is starting to gel, um, which has taken a while and taking longer than I thought it would. But I think they're starting to believe in this offense, and Smith is letting them do more in this offense.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, Ryan finally threw for over 300 yards last week, and he's getting the chance to get the ball downfield. And Kyle Pitts has done a great job. Kyle Pitts really, without Calvin Ridley around, Kyle Pitts took up the slack and performed really well. Uh,
He
you
did.
know,
He
it
did.
was great to see he was able to perform like that without Calvin Ridley on the field with him.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Calvin Ridley will be back. So
yeah, Calvin Ridley's coming back, right? Uh, against the Dolphins too. So uh, look for Davis and Patterson. They have big games because I think they can run against the Dolphins. Um, let's see. Let me pull up my statistics sheet. But I mean, the Dolphins, they give up a defensive passer rating so far this season of 105.6. That's
Hmm.
27th in the league. You can pass on these guys. Um, and that's whatever Ryan wants to do, he's going to be able to do on offense. Uh, they are 21st in rushing yards per attempt allowed.
Hmm.
They do not get turnovers. They do
I
not
was
get
going to say, yeah.
yeah,
If you look at their, they were a good defense coming into the season. We thought they
right.
would be a good defense,
thought.
right? But if you look at their stats from last year, they're average to above average in a lot of categories, and they were first in takeaways. I believe they were
Yes.
first in takeaways.
And that's been a big problem because without the takeaways, they haven't been able to move the ball.
Right,
Uh,
right. The
they're
takeaways,
working on a lot longer field than they were last
exactly.
year.
They're not setting up their offense in ideal scoring situations. They're not taking away points by getting takeaways in the red zone and when their opponent is in the red zone. And with those takeaways drying up, it's a real problem because they are giving up, a little, not a lot more, but a little bit more yards than last year. And the no takeaways is the double whammy.
Right. I mean, they're letting opponents finish drives against them. Look at it last week. they couldn't stop the Jaguars when they needed to stop the Jaguars. Jacksonville
Got that? Was it a fumble? They got the big takeaway against Trevor Lawrence last week, and then on the first play for offense, Tua throws the interception.
Yeah, right.
That was huge, a huge sequence.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing that they took advantage of last year.
Mm-hmm.
That they didn't, you finally get that fumble recovery, but you got to do something with it.
Yeah.
And their secondary, they're not getting interceptions. And that's why I think Ryan is going to have a big day.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, and I really, it's up to the defense to play well in this game because again, the Falcons still aren't solid on defense. They're not getting interceptions. They're not getting a lot of sacks. They're not winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. Even with Grady Jarrett up there and Dante Fowler now being out, they're not winning that battle on the line of scrimmage, and that's been a big problem. Rushing yards per attempt, they're giving up 4.3 rushing yards per attempt on defense. They're allowing opposing offenses to convert on 44.8% of third downs. There's almost half of third downs.
That's high.
Yeah, except that the Dolphins are 52.4. So,
okay.
You would think that would be an advantage for the Dolphins. No, because the Dolphins are even worse on defense on third down. You can get them. So,
what do you think of Dante Fowler being out for a while now, placed on IR with the knee injury? I know some fans might be saying, well, he wasn't any good anyway, and I mean he had his struggles for sure, but still a starter and the guy that you were hoping to be the top pass rusher on this defense is going to be out, and even with him, they're struggling to get pressure. So where does the pressure come from now?
Good question. That's a very good question. That's probably a question that Arthur Smith keeping Arthur Smith awake at night, trying to figure out. Where does it come from? I mean, can you get Grady Jarrett more push up the middle? That's because he's the only real, to me, solid defensive lineman that the Falcons have that they can rely on down after down. So I don't know. Where do you think it would come from? Because I don't have an answer for that. Unless they're going to start trying to blitz more and bring more blitz packages.
Yeah, which they probably don't want to do a ton of.
Right.
Well, I think they need more from some of their younger players. A guy that comes to mind, John Comiskey, is somebody that I think they need more from. Marlon Davison, they really could use more from. He was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
In his second season.
They've actually been playing him more inside than outside. He was drafted to be an outside pass rusher, but the Falcons have been using him more inside. This might be the time to see what he can do off the edge, and see if he has what kind of moves he has and if he can make that kind of adjustment.
They might be They might be moving him inside because he hasn't particularly excelled at being on the outside.
Exactly. And I mean, he hasn't done a bad job inside, but again, he's not getting a rush either.
Yeah.
So,
this team has 8 sacks. Is that right? You're looking at the stats. 8 sacks in 5 games.
9 sacks in 5
9
games.
sacks. 9 sacks, 1 interception in 5 games.
Yeah, you cannot win football games doing that. It doesn't work. You're not going to get anywhere doing that. Turnovers. It's not only taking the wind out of your opponent's sails, it's putting your team in positive field position, being able to give them a shorter field to work on. And that's the big thing about turnovers. Uh, you give Ryan the ball at in plus territory or maybe at the 40-yard line, and you're a lot better off. He can do a lot more things there.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can't ask your offense to drive the length of the field repeatedly all game long. They're not going to
right.
be able to do it.
And that's what the Falcons have been forced to do.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting that turnover.
Mm-hmm.
So something that's got to change coming out of this bye week is you hope Dean Pease has found something that will work. Um, you know, you hope he finds something that he can work with uh, to bring pressure. And the linebackers have to work harder as far as generating turnovers. Alua Khan and Jones have to do a better job. Alua Khan really hasn't played as well as I expected to see out of him this year so far.
Mad Mike weighing in, he thinks that it's not so much that they aren't getting pressure, the defensive line, they aren't finishing. That's true in a lot of cases. There are opportunities for sacks or negative plays and running quarterbacks. The plays against Jalen Hurts in week 1 come to mind where he got away from the pressure, but yeah, for whatever reason, they're not getting those negative plays that they need.
Yeah, and you got a quarterback who can run a little bit this week. So
that's true. Yeah, there's one thing Tua can do.
Right. Yes, it is one thing he can do.
I don't mean to criticize Tua too much anyway, but he has struggled to pass the ball at times. Last week, early in that game, it looked like, wow, this is a breakout for Tua. He looked really good in the first quarter.
And that's why they were one of my best bets last week. Because I really thought Tua coming back and taking the control of that offense again, because you would think he gives the Dolphins a chance to do more than they can with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. And as much as Brissett is a very good a backup quarterback, I don't think he's all very comfortable all the time out there as a starter. And I thought they were going to get a big pickup from having Tua back. And I was wrong. That was the one best bet I was wrong on. And Larry Orange had just put up a comment, and Chris put it up for us. So that is a possibility because he played well. Ogundeyi played well in the preseason. So, I was impressed with his play, and that's a very good possibility. Keeping Davidson inside and putting Ogundeyi outside on the edge and seeing what he can do. So yeah, that's a good point, Larry.
You brought up quarterback for the Dolphins, Tua, and
come on, they say Lynn. Tago Vailoa.
Tago Vailoa.
Okay.
Did I get it?
You're close.
Tua. And we've avoided saying Deshaun Watson's name on the show for months and months. I do want to bring him up briefly here now because it seems like the team that's linked to him the most is the Dolphins. The Falcons playing the Dolphins this weekend, and we're talking about Tua, his ups and downs as an NFL quarterback so far, a winning record, but towards the bottom of the league in most offensive quarterback categories since he became a starter mid last season. So, what are your thoughts on, the Dolphins possibly trading for Deshaun Watson before the trade deadline?
I think we have a lot to finally get out in the open. There's still a lot to come out with this Deshaun Watson case. I do not like rewarding sexual predators. But the NFL does it all the time.
Yeah.
And it bugs me every time they do it. Just as a player, Deshaun Watson's an outstanding quarterback. The guy he knows how to make plays. He can use his feet. The hell of it is, Deshaun Watson's kind of like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, where they can run. However, their eyes are always downfield until they get past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They're always looking to make that play.
Mm-hmm.
And Deshaun Watson is one of those guys where, as long as there's a play to be made, he's going to go past the line of scrimmage. Are you going to try and? Yeah, I wouldn't touch Watson. I agree with you, Mad Mike. I'm full agreement with you. And that's kind of was the point I was just about to make.
Matt Mike's summing it up well.
Yeah, Mike just summed it up. That's where I was going. As a quarterback, he's great. All this baggage that he's carrying right now, you got to figure out. There's like 20 women who've come out against him now.
Yeah, it's more than 20.
And I mean, he's created his own problem, but and I know he can't say anything right now because of the lawsuits and anything he says publicly is going to be used against him.
Sure.
But as I say, I hate seeing players rewarded for being sexual predators, and this has been a problem with Deshaun Watson, and I'm fine with him on the sidelines. If Miami wants to trade for them, that's their problem. Because it's not going to make me feel any better about the Miami Dolphins. I'm not going to. I'm going to feel worse about that team if they make that deal.
I think what's sad is if I have a take on this situation, this trade wouldn't be happening, in my opinion. I guess it hasn't happened. It obviously hasn't happened yet. But I don't think we'd be talking about this trade possibly happening if Brian Flores wasn't on the hot seat.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we're talking about it, because Brian Flores is in his third season in Miami, and they had high expectations this year after 10 wins last year, starting 1-5, and the Dolphins have placed him on the hot seat, basically. And the way to save his job is you go to an all-pro quarterback, I think, is basically
right.
how he's looking at it.
I think that's exactly how they're looking at it. Somebody who is proven, he's going to go out. He's going to go out and make the plays. With
I mean, he's a big upgrade over Tua. He would be on the football field.
On the football field.
Yeah.
Character-wise, no. No. But on the football field, yeah, he is. But do you want? Is it worth it? I mean,
unfortunately for Brian Flores, yes, because the alternative is unemployment.
Oh, he's going to be a defensive coordinator somewhere. Come on.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't want that. He wants to be a head coach.
I know.
I'm not trying to, justify his actions. I'm just kind of saying what's happening here, and really what it should say is after half a bad season, you shouldn't put your coach on the hot seat and let him make decisions that are going to hurt your franchise in the long run. Because trading for Watson could hurt, even if he comes in and he wins some games this year, you're giving up like 3 first-round picks for him. I don't think that's a recipe for long-term success either. The coach is looking for short-term success because his job is on the line.
Right. But the problem is once these charges are investigated and some of this comes out, he might be under NFL restrictions, NFL punishment, and not necessarily team, but suspension, under the NFL, personal conduct clause. So you're looking at that too. You might not have him too long.
And I think my last point, that is why I would say if you do if any team trades for Watson, you have to make the picks you give up conditional. It has to be, okay, fine, I'll give up 3 first-round picks for him, but those 3 first-round picks become third-round picks if he doesn't play more than 20 games for my team or something like that. I don't know. That's got to be in the deal somewhere.
But I don't think
this trade is just should not happen.
From what I'm hearing, Houston's not going that direction. They want to.
They're not lowering the price.
No, they're not lowering the price. They want they're trading him, and they want a lot in return, and they're not going any lower. So there's not going to be any conditional picks if Houston has their way. I don't think Houston's going to get their way because right now Deshaun Watson's damaged goods, and it's just the way it is.
They can. The Dolphins will gladly just let them keep paying him to sit on the couch. That's the other. You can say, I agree with you, Tom, that I'd rather see Deshaun Watson stay on the sideline, but he's still getting paid by sitting on the sideline, and that's really the other just annoying part of this whole scenario.
It is. It really is. But considering how terrible an organization Houston is, I at least give them credit for not going to him, especially after Tyrod Taylor went down. Trying taking the easy way out and going back to Deshaun Watson instead of keeping him on the sideline, which they could have done. They really could have, but I give them credit for that. I don't give them credit for a whole lot of else. I don't give them credit for building any kind of football team down there, but I'll give them credit for that.
It'll be if a trade happens, it'll be interesting to see if the Texans want Tua. From what I've read, they don't, and they agree with Mad Mike that they'd rather just take the picks and draft their own quarterback.
Right. I've heard that this might be a 3-team trade too, with Washington football team getting Tua. So I've seen that, and you know how rumors are. Agents. Front offices, they leak stuff all the time.
Don't get me started on NFL rumors with the week Mike Tomlin had. You see any of the rumors around Mike Tomlin?
No, I didn't. No.
Well, first it was he's going to the Raiders.
Oh, really?
That's There were I forget who it was. It was an NFL Network report on Colin Cowherd's show on Fox.
Oh, Colin Cowherd. Oh.
That he said that he's hearing, Mike Tomlin to Vegas. And then a few days later, it was Mike Tomlin to LSU.
Oh, God. Those are both good ones.
Yeah.
Man, Mike.
Yeah. These are I can rant about NFL rumors for a while. Surrounding Mike Tomlin. It's just like half of the Steelers fan base wants him fired, and then the other half says that he's such a great coach, he's going to get paid $9 million to coach at LSU. It would be nice if the rumors were at least consistent, but they're not.
Don't half the Steelers fan base, haven't half the Steelers fan base wanted Mike Tomlin fired from the very beginning almost?
Yeah, right.
It's been years.
And those are that's still half the fan base that wants him gone. And then the other half think that he's going to LSU. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, God. That's hilarious. Oh, I love that.
He has no connection to LSU, no connection to the SEC. He barely has any connection to college football. He played at William & Mary. Yeah. Why would he want to go to a big-time program like LSU and have to recruit players? He has no experience doing that. And if he has 2 bad seasons, he's out.
Right.
He has a job for life with the Steelers. But
exactly.
I didn't want to rant about this, but
hey, go for it. Miss Maggie T is with us. Miss Maggie T. Always love to see her with us. So that's great. But I mean, he's got no connections in Louisiana. So how are you going to recruit? He's got no connections. He's got no connections to be able to bring in a recruiting class. He can brag and say, "Well, I'm Mike Tomlin, and you can be coached by a guy who won a Super Bowl," but that only goes so far too. I look at Lovie Smith at the University of Illinois. That didn't last long. Lovie wasn't a recruiter, and that's where he always had his problem. Uh, he was not a good recruiter. He was not a convincing recruiter, and he never was able to build a team down there. So and that's it with any college coach. If you can't recruit, you're behind the eight ball. You're not going to win.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm looking up. I didn't remember who the source was for the LSU rumor. It was Doug Whaley, who is a former Buffalo Bills general manager, and he's actually from Pittsburgh. He's from the same hometown as me, Upper St. Clair. And he, I don't know where he's getting his information, but he went on 93.7, the Fan morning show in Pittsburgh, and said that Mike Tomlin may be of interest for LSU, and he threw in USC too.
Why? I was just about to say, why not? Why not USC?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I thought Urban Meyer was going to USC.
Right. Yeah. That was last month's rumor.
Oh, that was last month.
We need a new rumor in October.
Okay. Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, and the reasons he cites is, both institutions can outpay the Rooneys and the Steelers. They're an alumni base that have enough money to give Mike Tomlin whatever he wants.
These sure they do.
That's a quote from Whaley on the radio show.
Yeah, but that's the case with any major college program. That's just the way it is. You're the king of the you're the king of the land. All that you survey, you're the ruler of. It's like you think Nick Saban's ever going to leave Alabama? He's the king of Alabama. I mean, it's if you establish yourself in one of these places, you're basically royalty. But no, Tomlin, I think you got it right the first time. 2 seasons of struggling, and yeah, he's out the door because they're not going to put up with it.
Yeah, and he has no experience in college.
Nope.
As a coach, not really as a player either. Again, he played at William and Mary, and maybe he played there because he wasn't a great high school player, but it could also be because he didn't love, big time college football. He just doesn't come from that background.
Right. Exactly. So
he's a pro coach. He's definitely an NFL
he's
coach.
He's an NFL coach, and he's always going to be an NFL coach.
Yeah.
And when he's done, the Steelers are going to give him a nice job in the front office, and and he's set. He wins. That's the thing that always gets me about the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wins football games. He puts you in position every year in postseason.
Yeah.
He's not there this year because of Ben Roethlisberger's definitely on the downside of his career, but he wins.
Well, I was going to say for this year, as bad as the Steelers have been, they're 3-3.
Exactly.
The sky is falling in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are awful. They've won as many games as they've lost.
Exactly. Right. And that's a heck of a job. That's tough to do. So I give him all the credit. I give him all the credit for putting up with the stuff that he puts up with in Pittsburgh. But, the Rooneys love him, and he wins football games. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, I don't know Mike Tomlin personally, obviously, but he seems like a guy that values that loyalty that he gets from the Steelers front office.
Right.
If he values that at all, then he's not even going to consider these other ridiculous,
Larry Orange. Yeah. 3 coaches in 52 years. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. It's kind of, you can point to the Los Angeles Dodgers in Major League Baseball. You had Walter Alston from 1955 to, whatever, and then Tommy Lasorda. So, I mean, they had 2 coaches for like 40 years, 2 managers for 40 years. You just don't see it. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I think Tomlin could have a few losing seasons. I don't think he will, but he could have a few losing seasons in a row, and I don't think he get fired.
No, he gets the best out of what he has on the field every year.
Yeah.
So I think the world of Mike Tomlin.
I do too. Just sign a new contract too. I don't know how, in college you can have a buyout and move even if you have a big contract. How does that work in the NFL? Like if a coach has signed a 3-year deal and then a college team wants to swoop in and get him, can they even do that? Can they just pay out the contract and get him? Is that what it would take?
I'm sure they could. Okay. I don't see why not. And yeah, most colleges, most big time college programs have that kind of money. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. But all right, we gave more credence than we should have to those Mike Tomlin rumors. But,
yes, definitely.
I wanted to hear some of your picks for Week 7.
You want to hear some of my picks for Week 7?
Yeah, and I'll give another shout out to our sponsor before you do that. This video is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the simplest fantasy sports app out there on the market. I signed up this morning. Real nice and easy. Give them a username, email, and then the promo code that you got to use when you sign up, ASU, Atlanta Sports Unlimited. With that promo code, Prize Picks will match your deposit up to $100.
Yep. As I say, I won last week, so you can do it. Sign on up. And, I want to see, I don't know if anybody actually signed up last week and beat me or tried to do better than me. I want this to be a contest. Let's see who can outdo each other each week. I want to, come on, fans. Let's. I'm throwing the challenge out there to all of you. Beat my picks. Yeah, there we go.
There's the challenge.
Or follow along and enjoy, having a winning week. But I want to see, the challenges out there. So, but Nostradamus is back. I was 3-0 2 weeks ago on my best bets. I was 2-1 last week because I took the damn Dolphins in London. But I am 5-1 the last 2 weeks with my best bets, with the picks that I have been giving you on this show. So we are going to start out, and I just don't see how or why. I take the Atlanta Falcons. They are only 2.5-point favorites. Only giving 2.5 points to the Miami Dolphins. I like it. While I think the Dolphins are going to have problems on defense. I think their offense, I think they can outscore the Dolphins at the very least.
Yeah.
So I am taking the Atlanta Falcons minus 2.5 this Sunday in Miami. And this has been a difficult week to make picks because some of these spreads are just ridiculous. The sports books have been taking a beating the last couple of weeks. A lot of favorites have been covering, and they're kind of making everybody pay for that this week. They have the Arizona Cardinals are 18-point favorites over 18-point favorites over the Houston Texans.
Wow.
That's just incredible. You just don't see that.
Yeah.
The Rams are 16.5-point favorites over the Detroit Lions. The battle of Matt Stafford and Jared Goff.
Yeah, right.
Again, 3-score spread. It's just unreal the kind of spreads that the sports books are putting up to try and get even with everybody for winning heavy the last 2 weeks. And however, another spread that I see that I like is New England Patriots -7. They're favored by a touchdown at home against the New York Jets. And I don't care if the Jets are coming off a bye week. I don't care if the Jets are coming off a month off. I picked the Jets 1 week because I thought the spread was too big, too wide.
Hmm.
and they crapped the bed that weekend. So New England is 0-4 at Gillette Stadium this season. They're going to get their first win. They played 3 tough games. They only won one of them, but their offense seems to be gelling a little bit more behind Mac Jones. I did say last year that last week that the Patriots are leading the league in field goal attempts, which is never a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
But they were putting the ball in the end zone last week. I think the Patriots do cover that 7 versus the New York Jets. Jets are lost. I just don't see it.
Patriots are my eliminator, my survivor pick.
I like good.
Yeah.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a very good pick. Now, I have been kind of up in the air on my third pick on a couple of these because the Los Angeles Rams, I hate giving double-digit points. But the Los Angeles Rams are getting 16.5 points against the Detroit Lions. The Los Angeles Rams do not have a tough game coming up next week. And Matthew Stafford does have incentive this week to play well against his old team.
Right.
And personally, I wonder what's going on with the Lions because it seems like Dan Campbell had that real emotional outburst a couple of weeks ago, and they just laid down and did nothing against the Bengals last week. So, I don't even know. And Campbell also called out Jared Goff, said Goff has to do more. It's just, you're calling out I hate when a coach calls out his players in the public. If you want to say that to Jared Goff in your office, during the week, that's fine. Tell Jared Goff you need to see more out of him. Don't do that in the press. Give the 16.5. Take the Rams. They are not looking at a tough game next week. So go ahead and take them. Let's see. Arizona, I would normally say Arizona is so good. And last week, if you look at my column every week at footballfroma2z.com, footballfroma2z.com, and if you look at my picks from last week at footballfroma2z.com, if you looked at my picks last week, I couldn't believe how many people were actually picking the Browns over the Cardinals. I know the game was in Cleveland, but it seemed like nobody was giving the Cardinals credit. They're like, okay, they're facing a tough team now. They're facing the Cleveland Browns. No. The Cardinals wiped the floor with the Cleveland Browns. They just
Look at that.
Thanks, Chris. But
the hype around the Browns, I just NFL fans in general just want the Browns to be good.
Yes,
that's how I view it, and
yes.
they thought they were going to do really well against the Chargers. And I mean, that was a great close game. But they didn't win that one. And then they're banged up. Like they didn't have Nick Chubb last week.
No, and and this last week they didn't have Chubb, Kareem Hunt, or Baker Mayfield.
Right.
But they still won.
They did win.
The Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
So
also, maybe we just overestimate how important the head coach is on game day because the Cardinals didn't have Cliff Kingsbury last week.
They did.
Is that why a lot of people thought the Browns would win?
No, I don't think so. I just think they thought the Browns were a better team. I think a lot of people have been having a tough time seeing the Arizona Cardinals as a good team, as a team that's actually a power.
Well, I don't blame people for that, but that doesn't mean they're going to lose to the Browns, I guess.
No, and now they brought in Zach Ertz. So, I would say normally the Arizona Cardinals are going to wipe the field with Houston Texans. The problem is that 18-point spread. The Cardinals have a game coming up next Thursday against the Green Bay Packers.
Right. Yeah. Short week.
Short week, tough game. Uh, I have a feeling that they're going to get off to a fast start against the Texans and then kind of take their foot off the gas. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't bet this, but I would not be surprised if the Texans actually, when I do make my picks, my Nestor Thomas picks, I'm taking the Texans plus the 18 because I don't think the Cardinals are not in a spot right now where they're going to cover a 3-score spread. They got too much coming up. They got a more important game coming up.
Right.
My third game, as I say, is the Los Angeles Rams over the Detroit Lions. They don't have a marker game coming up that's important to them. They are not looking ahead to a game that's more of a must-win. That's going to be important to their playoff chances. So go ahead and take the Rams because I think Matthew Stafford really wants to show something this weekend. And the Detroit Lions are hard to figure out. I don't know if they're dead now or, did Dan Campbell breaking into tears kind of – I thought it might inspire the team, but maybe it worked the opposite direction. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough to say.
They could just be emotionally drained because they've had a lot of close calls, games that they arguably should have won that didn't go their way because the refs missed a delay of game or
they got screwed. Yeah. I mean, that game against the Ravens, they won that game.
They did.
And
the Ravens have what? The Ravens have the best record in the AFC.
Yeah,
they beat a really good team.
Right. They beat a very good team. They had them beat. They got jobbed. That was terrible. Those referees should have been fined, suspended, whatever. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I am really serious.
Yeah,
and
I think there should be more accountability for all officials in
sports. Overall, I think the referees have been terrible this season. It's been a bad year. Justin Fields at 57 minutes. We got the Justin Fields reference. Justin Fields was trying to call a timeout in a 2-minute drill last week against the Packers.
Yeah.
The clock was getting down. He turned to the ref, timeout, and the ref said, no, he wasn't going to take it. He refused to call the timeout. And, Fields was doing this with about 2 seconds left on the play clock. And the ref wouldn't do it. And it's just terrible.
Why wouldn't the referee do it?
Because the Packers are one of the favorite teams. I don't know. Everybody loves the
Packers. What happened? They got to delay a game?
Yeah, they got to delay a game.
Huh.
It's just amazing. Well, it's like Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they got their playoff, that 4th down play, 2 seconds after the play clock had run out. How do you justify that? All right, prize picks. I have James Conner, running back for the Arizona Cardinals. His total for rushing yards over under is 54.5. I'm taking the over because I think he's definitely, you can run on Houston. And Chase Edmonds is hurt. I don't think they're going to use Chase Edmonds a lot in this game because they don't have to. So I think James Conner, 54.5. Derrick Henry against the Chiefs. And this is another thing. The Chiefs are favored by 4.5. I don't know. The Chiefs can't play defense. They can play defense against the NFC East. They can't play defense against anybody else.
Right.
The Titans just put themselves back into a playoff position. They're 4-2 with a lot of other teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
Just because it's a short week, I don't think they're going to be taking the Chiefs lightly. I know they just beat the Bills. That was a big win.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be ready for the Chiefs. Everybody seems to be getting their revenge against the Chiefs this year.
Yeah, and I want to watch more Chiefs games to really see what's going on with them, but they just don't seem to be the same juggernaut that they've been the last couple
They're not. They haven't been.
Yeah.
But I am taking Derrick Henry. They have a projected rushing yards of 116.5. He has surpassed that 3 games this year. I am taking the over. Now, as far as my third pick, if anybody has any suggestions, I'm good. I'm thinking of taking Matt Ryan. They are projecting at 278.5 yards of passing yards. I'm thinking of taking that and going the over.
I like that.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Anybody, fans, any comments? Because I think he could. I think he's going to throw the ball all day, and I think the offense is going to move uh, against the Miami Dolphins, and he threw for over 300 yards last week.
Yeah. I think he'll have a 300-yard game.
So
That'll be my
I'm going
prediction.
to take Matt Ryan, Derrick Henry, and James Conner. All right.
Okay.
And next week, I want to hear what some of you have taken. I really do. I think this is fun. And I want to see what you guys have taken and how successful you are. If you've come out with 3 players and come out with a win. So let's do it.
Yeah, make those picks on Prize Picks. Download the app in your app store. Real easy to get started. Don't forget to use the promo code ASU. That gets you the match up to $100 on your first deposit.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, it's a great thing. It's fun to watch while you're watching the games.
Yeah, you got watching your team, right? Watching the Falcons, watching your fantasy players. Now we got these Prize Picks as well. It's exciting stuff.
It's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
The NFL keeps you busy.
They do. Yeah, they do. Well, thanks for tuning in this Saturday afternoon on the East Coast, Saturday morning if you're further west in the United States. We'll be back next Saturday. Enjoy week 7. We'll see you next week.